12Q facing an 8Q. Okay. Bit of a gap, but have to do what we can do. Okay, Chinese opening. Top side is the last empty side. There's no stone between the corner moves. So if you have a corner move, there's one stone right here between this, one stone right here between this, one stone right here between this. So every side has something on it except for this one. So this is the only empty side left. That's where you want to be. Okay. Black, I think you could have gotten there first. This is not typically what you want. Okay, so the Chinese opening is very influence heavy. And also, you played the fourth line right here. Fourth line says, I want influence. I want to develop. I want this center square. But then you immediately came back down and said, I want this side. That is not what the fourth line is supposed to do. You want like a jump. If they slide under, you can just block. Because you're after a big chunk of the board. You're not after a few points. This feels odd. If we're invading third line, because we can make a base easily, a lot easier on the third line. But we don't need to. So I think just develop your position. It's bigger. So according to my experience, typically when I see something like this, it's because the student sees their opponent's influence and gets scared of it, so they want to stop it, even if theirs is twice as big. Because the enemy has something, and the enemy's something is always more valuable and therefore scarier, and blah blah blah. But it's all an illusion in your head. Logically, we need to see that blacks is bigger, and so we should build blacks. But according to my experience, you're either tunnel visioning on your own or tunnel visioning on your opponents, and you need to be able to see both at the same time. Okay, 3-3 is fine. This is a little bit silly. I'm not sure what we're doing on the second line. Yeah, I have no idea what you're trying to do. Settle, develop, seal the corner. Make a base, actually. This one's important, actually. Make a base for your wall. I think I would have chose the double Hane here. The reason is you should be comfortable with the double Hane as long as you know to sacrifice the number one stone for the corner. If you know that, then you should recognize that you get a base in the corner. Typically, you don't want this. However, on this board, you have a wall. It wants to go that way. There's something that way. That is the issue. This wall has already been stopped. We don't want a wall that has already been stopped. So maybe this way then. Maybe that's what you're wanting? Or making base like this? Maybe that's what you were after. Otherwise, you can just make a base by living in the corner. Sometimes it's good to play double Hane if you just need a quick base. Okay, nice reduction. Probably this one, because this square has already been reduced thanks to this stone, but you have nothing dealing with this square. So that means you probably need to get on this side, but this is not bad. Luck, you want to develop. Big stuff. Also, you left a group without a base. Keep an eye on that. This is how you die, is you try to attack, and then you'll try to attack, and you lose track of your baseless groups. So make sure you keep an eye on that. check the cut. Seems okay, except when we want to cut off that. That means we are cuttable over here. This is because we have cutting point at the knight's move, and then a cutting point at the Hane. So we have 2 cutting points on the same group. Okay, so 2 cutting points. Sometimes cuts will affect each other. Make sure you're watching those cutting points. Base on the 3rd line, not the 4th line. There is an enemy you want to settle. You are not developing here. The enemy is in your face. You don't want to develop. You want to settle. You want safety. Okay, to run left from a 1-space jump. To run left, it is actually a dog's face. This little triangle shape. This is how you run left from a 1-space jump. If you run like this, you can get double peeped. Or like this, more specifically, you can get double peeped. So it's potentially dangerous. 2-space is looser, faster, but looser. So it has more cutting points, but it's faster. So I don't typically recommend it for this level, simply because more cutting points is more ways to die. Just go up. Now you can just let it crawl, let it crawl, let it crawl, let it crawl. Yeah, just go up and get strong for the area. You go here, now you need to recognize that a 2-space jump has a cutting point. The Hane has a cutting point. The knight's move has a cutting point. We have 3 cutting points on the same string of stones. That's asking for something to go wrong. There's that. That's an idea. Okay, making a base. You're spending too many moves to do it, but I like that you're living. I don't know what we're doing in the corner. Now is the time to invade the top right or seal. Actually, no, keep attacking. This is floating. You could keep attacking and developing, or you could invade the top left. I think I might have said top right. I meant the top left. Block. This. Or here. Okay, so this is going to be small board practice. You don't need this move. Go attack. If they capture that stone, you still have your eye space. Because of that, you're actually okay. You don't need to block it. Just 1 stone if it doesn't have anything to do with your base. I'm not sure why you're here. If you're worried about the cutting points, I call this paying tax, where instead of getting to play the move you want to play, you have to go fix something because of your bad shape that you played earlier. I call that paying tax on your move. Really annoying to have to pay tax. 3rd line to settle. Settle that. Settle that. And then invade. Okay, try to avoid this. 2-space into a 2-space has a cutting point, so it's really bad for bases because it has the crosscut. There's a crosscut in the 2-space into 2-space. If there's a double 2-space, crosscut. You want 2-space into a 1-space. 2 into 1 or 1 into 2, what you want. 2 into 2, potential cutting points. Also, touch, respond. Touch, respond. Don't ignore touching moves. White, you can try to punish by cutting off this stone. Invade, invade, cut, invade. 3-3. Lots to learn at 3-3. If you're ever like, I don't know where to play in here, try the 3-3. Doesn't matter if it's good or not. I don't care. Try it. Learn. Even if it's a bad move, try it. Right? There's a lot. You don't know why it's bad, probably. So you have to go in and learn what's good, what's bad, what lives, what doesn't. There's about 100 to 1,000 life and death problems in here. So I think there's plenty to learn in this 3-3 invasion. So even if it doesn't work, I think it's fun to try. Good learning experience. Okay. Fixing cuts is good. Like I just said over here. 3-3. See what happens. The learning, right? We're learning. We're double-digit Q. Our opponent doesn't know it either. Attachment should give you a little bit more space here, but just do it. See what happens. And then review. Just make sure you review it, right? Make sure you learn from it. Every 3-3 is a new lesson as long as you review the game. Okay, let's check our cutting point. That's what we should be doing here. It is a ladder. Cut is good. Then what about eye space? Probably just block the eye space and we're live. Otherwise, let's just shut the door. Shut the door to our massive position. White shut their door. There's no entrance from the outside anymore. We gotta shut ours. That way we both have something. Okay, this is a 2-space into a 2-space again. 2-space into a 1-space. What if I go here, here, here? I mean, we could just do that and sacrifice the stone, but complicated. This feels like a bunch of dame. So a bunch of neutral points. Everyone is here. Everyone is right here. We want the big areas and in game. So like we want to be trying to come under. We want to be trying to come under. We want the big areas. So this is all a bunch of neutral points. So 0-point moves. Okay, we're getting a couple points, but really small. Try the second line. Second line is great for endgame because the second line is threatening to jump in and destroy all the points. So you have to block. Okay, now I got 1 point for free. Second line, if you ignore me, I'm going to jump in and destroy all the points. You got to respond. First line, respond. If you ignore, I'm going to jump in and get all the points. So you have to respond. Okay, now I'm getting like 1 point here, 2 points here. Here's another point. Here's some more points. Here's some more. Push in here. Maybe there's a cutting point. Who knows? I wasn't looking at the top right because I assumed it was alive, but I wasn't paying attention. Now that I'm looking at it, this is looking like a dead group. Sorry, when did that? Oh, didn't notice that. Oh, this. I wasn't paying close enough attention to the corner. I was too busy trying to look at the base. Make life. Make life. Yeah, there's a life and death problem in the corner. So this is a go problem. This confuses me so much. Okay, so this is trying to cut this stone from this stone. It's trying to cut them off. But you said, I'm worried about a cutting point right here, cutting these 2 stones off. This one is scary, but this one's guaranteed. So why would you fix the one that has more black stones instead of the ones that immediately gets cut? Because instead of a potential cut, which they're then cutting points, they're pretty easy as long as you drill them over and over with your go problems. But you fixed one that was an illusion for the one that was guaranteed. And I don't quite understand it. Okay, learn to love. This is pretty painful. Learn to love the second line in the endgame. Second line is your friend. First line is your friend. The clock lady is your friend. You should be in overtime by now. You should be using your time. Not then you're playing too fast. Mm. Here. Utilize those cutting points. Careful. Okay, we fixed. Maybe here. Like, I think this is okay too, but this is like, imagine I push there. And imagine I cut. You go here, cut, cut, go down. It's almost death. Not quite. Not quite, but it's getting close. And when it's close to death, in my mind, that means death for a DDK because something's going to be misplayed. If you fix this way, there might be a sacrifice to get in, which would be bad. Point is, it's probably fine. I just would prefer less cutting points on your position, simply because it's less chances for mistakes. This is some risk, but I think White's trying to break in, which would be very valuable if it worked, but probably a little overplay. Maybe. Oops. One step too far. One step too far. Almost worked. Yeah, it's a ladder. Just take. That way White doesn't get all the forcing moves. Careful, there is another go problem right here. If I go right here and you fix, and I cut, this connection is a self-atari. There's actually another go problem. Okay, you found it. Good. Small. It's only 1 point. In-game. 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 Push the borders. Push, 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 push. Push, 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 push. Okay, nice capture. White. You don't really have any good in-game. Unfortunate. Because blacks block the second line everywhere. Yeah, so maybe fix. I think probably the game is at a pretty settled state. So let's see if anything more dramatic happens. Ooh, for black. These are nice, juicy, tempting, potential in-game accidents. Wait until the end to activate it. If you don't see it working immediately, where you're like, there might be something, wait until the end of the game. At the end of the game, when you're filling the neutral points, the dame points, sometimes these cutting points activate. And then your opponents might miss it. Sometimes you win the game just by leaving these laying around. When in dame, these will activate, and you just gotta leave them alone. So if nothing works immediately, save the Aji. Give the opponent a chance to die at the end of the game. Now you made your opponent look for it. In the end game, I'm like, okay, I'm filling dame, and you're filling dame, and then activate. Let them fill it. You gotta be tricky. Now this one doesn't do anything, I think. Yeah, it does. 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 Here. Here, 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 here. I think this one's a self-atari. So, and then here, so you get 2 stones and 3. That's cool. Nice problem. That's a cool go problem. That is a cool go problem. Oops. This is in-game mistakes. Every endgame, beginner endgame book will show you this second line cut. Lesson learned. It's painful, but we got to learn it. There's another cut. There's another cut. And GG. Okay.